My name is Kearsten. I interviewed my grandpa Al Yokel. When and where were you born?
Born in Portland, Oregon, May the 22nd, 1915.
How did you get to school when you were a child?
When we moved to Kansas, then I went to school there when horse and buggy, me and my sister went horse and buggy to school, and a one-room school, rain or shine.
What kind of clothes did you wear when you were my age?
It was all homemade stuff that your grandma or your mama made for you. And we had shoes, and we bought shoes maybe once a year. At harvest time, we had a little money, so we each got a pair of shoes. We had to take care of them, go to church with them, and then you got a hole in them, and my dad had a big leather there, and he'd sole your shoes, cut the leather off and sole your shoes. And that's the shoes that we wore yet. But we went barefooted. Most of the time we always went barefooted, in school or going to school. Rain or shine. And we had bib overalls with a strap on it with a big button on it in the front.
What kind of games did you play?
We didn't have much time to play, but we did. We played probably hide and seek, and that's about it. Played no ball, no nothing.
Who was the president when you were my age?
Calvin Coolidge.
What was it like living during the war?
Not very good, is it? Everybody was sad because they lost their loved ones. And my two brothers were both in the Navy, and they wouldn't take me because I had asthma real bad. So I stayed here, and I worked on at Long Bell there loading some pontoon stuff for the government, for the soldiers, the pontoon. And then after that, I worked at Beaverton, and ammunition, unloading and loading ammunition at Beaverton, Oregon. That's another thing. And then after that, the war was, it was hard times yet, so they had to, all this, during the war, you had to have food stamps, not food stamps, but you'd have to have stamps some kind, but if you didn't, you could have all the money you wanted to have, but you had to only got so many stamps for a pound of butter and some meat and whatever, and that's all you had. If you had the money, if you had the money for it, if you didn't have the stamps, you couldn't get it. Tires.
Your brothers.
Tires, you couldn't get. They was all rationed out. Tires were rationed out. You couldn't get tires either. You had to flat tires, and you couldn't buy them because they'd be rationed out. Because that's all stuff went during the war. Everything had to go to war.
Tell about your brothers. The war. Your brothers?
I had two brothers, both in the Navy. One on the Carolina, the other on the Lexington, which was it was a sunk. That's what I know was sunk. And then that was it. And then my mother, she had a stroke, and she finally found out that one of them was alive, but the other one was come up missing yet, and she died. The mother died without knowing that the other was still alive. They're both alive, but she didn't know it. She just knew the one was alive yet.
Did you have candy bars? How much did they cost?
Candy bars, at that time, you get them for a penny. The bars that you get now for 15 or 25 cents, they'd be a penny. And we get a lot of these mints and these little chocolate, the big barrel, what do you call them? Chocolate drops.
Old-fashioned chocolate.
And it had that, and you'd get a whole bunch. You get a whole bunch for a penny. And then you have those mint candies. You'd pick out 4 right out of the big barrel like that. And if you got a pink one, you'd get another one free for 1 penny. You get 4 for a penny.
How did you heat your house?
We heated the house with cow chips and corn cob for the stove. Had no wood or coal. Lived on the farm, way back in the farm, in sections of land. I'd milk, I did with that too. I'd milk, I was 8, 9 years old. I'd milk 15 cows in the morning and 15 cows in the evening. And then I'd run a separator that I couldn't hardly turn until it got going, then it'd go easy. And the cream come out of one spout, and the skim milk came out to the other spout. The skim milk, then I feed it to pigs. The cream, we kept the thing and took it, and we went to school. We stopped the store and left a can of cream off. And the storeman would keep track of that corn. The cream. He'd take care of the cream, and then he'd, in a week's time, then we have so much in there, and then we could get grocery, like spices or something like that, flour, and stuff like that. There was no canned goods or none of that. Just spices, flours, and goods. You make dresses and clothes and stuff with it. Made your own coats. And then I'd feed the pigs that corn, and then we save the husks of the corn. We pick that up again. We dry that out, and we make mattress for ourselves. And my mother turned around and kept all the flour sacks, washed them out again, bleached out good, and we scrubbed them, and then she turned around and put the corn husks in there and sewed it up, and that was our mattress to lay down. And quilts. They made a lot of quilts for us. That's another thing they did. Another thing, what the heck was it? There was, and if you, sometimes you'd have feather mattresses. You have to get a lot of goose feathers. Get a lot of gooses and chickens with feathers, and they make a mattress out of the feathers. And then we had a big table, all set on the table to eat. Had plenty of, always had plenty, that big box of cornflakes with a rooster on it, the picture of that time. Big aluminum can of milk, and then we'd use that. And we had plenty to eat all the time. We had a cellar, and then we had a lot of meat down there in the big old crocks and the grease, Take that out. My mother take that out, so much out. Had a sauerkraut, big old barrel of sauerkraut. I'm going to tell you how they made it.
I think I know it.
How did you make it?
How I made it? Me and my sister would turn around, and at harvest time, we'd go out and feed the harvest crew way out in the field. And then we come in, and then we get a lot of scratches on our feet, but we had to scrub our feet real good that night, real good. And then we had to get in a big barrel, and me and my sister had to stomp them sauerkraut down with our feet. And that brine, it burned our feet so bad that it brought tears out, and you didn't dare to cry. If you did, my dad knocked you out of that barrel.
You think you have it bad, huh? That's not so bad. Would you rather make sauerkraut, or would you rather do a piano lesson?
And we did pray. Every time we were a whole bunch of sitting on a table, we all said the prayers. I had an uncle that he was mute. He couldn't talk or anything like that. So he mumbled his prayer too. But he couldn't talk, but he mumbled his prayer. But we all got to pray, and we went to church every Sunday in a wagon to the church, and that's about 4.5, 5 miles.
Well, that's the end. What were you like in school?
I was kind of always ornery. I was always getting in trouble. Every time something comes up, I done something wrong, the teacher would say, Alvin, call my name out. Even if I didn't do it, she'd say Alvin anyway. One time I turned around and I had to bring on lunch, and the teacher had to be outside, you know, and eating lunch with other kids and stuff like that. And I seen a little chipmunk, and he went in a hole. So I had a gallon of water set up there, and I got a gallon of water, and I put it in the hole, and I drowned it. And the poor little chipmunk came out of that hole. When he came out of the hole, I grabbed him in my hand, and he was kind of stunned a little bit yet. And I took it, run into the schoolroom, in the schoolhouse, and I put it in the teacher's desk, and the desk that she opens up doors, and I closed it. So pretty soon, when was school taken up, she turned around and had to open that door to get a pencil or ruler or something, get it out, and that little chipmunk jumped right out, and the teacher just screamed and hollered, you know, and then she hollered right away, Alvin, you come up here right away. And then I'd get a switching of that switch up top of the map, the old map, the scoreboard. That's something else I'd done. I did a lot of things. Oh, and then I turned around. They had two people sitting at the desk, at a school desk, but two sat here, and I sat with another boy behind me, and they had inkwells right behind. They had inkwells. Each one of them had inkwells so you can write, you know, stick a pen and write. And the girls had these long curls. Had the hair curled up right back there with a pigtail like. And I'd watch my chance of getting them to head back like that. I'd take that curl and I'd move it like that, and I'd stick it to that inkwell. Stick their hair, that ponytail in the inkwell. And then I got in trouble again. But I always got in trouble like that. So then we came out here. I went to the regular school with a lot of kids and stuff like that. I knew all that stuff that they teach me here. So I went up 2 grades. First grade, then 2 grades I went up. And that's, and you had to say, another thing in that school, we had to say, before you come to school, you had to pledge allegiance to that flag. And Grandpa couldn't talk English very good at that time. It's a hard time to talk English. But I had to learn that pledge allegiance to the flag, and that's why I respect that flag yet today. And I can see a flag on a parade, I can cry when I see that flag and the music playing. And that's why Grandpa was raised. With the American flag, one thing about it, you can be really thankful that you got nice schools and teachers and what have you than what I didn't have. And I could tell you a lot more, but I just don't have time for it.
Thank you, Grandpa. That is the end of my interview.
Real religious. My dad and mother. But I could tell you a lot more, but I didn't got time yet, but I can sure tell you a lot more.
Thank you, Grandpa. That is the end of my interview.